This is News at 11 on WCJB TV 20, your local station.
In a couple of days, it looks like Hurricane Michael will make landfall in the Panhandle.
And it's possible that we could see some impact right here in north central Florida. Chief Meteorologist Bill Quinlan's in the Weather Center tonight to tell us what we can expect. And this, Bill, is the storm maintaining its strength?
Actually strengthening a little bit more since the 5 o'clock advisory. We went to 80 miles an hour, now 90 mile per hour winds continuing to move into the Gulf of Mexico. Take a look at the hurricane hunters, what they found in there earlier this evening as they swept on through the center of circulation there. Winds speeds estimated at 83 miles an hour and just passing through it again at this time. Here's the 11 o'clock advisory, 90 mile an hour winds, 485 miles south of Panama City, Florida. That's a potential landfall, at least the potential as we head into the daytime on Wednesday. It's going to be a while and it still has time to strengthen as it moves along that course. Here's the forecast cone of uncertainty as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico, intensifying a bit by Tuesday. Category 3 now by Tuesday evening. That's a bit stronger than we had anticipated earlier. And then as we go up towards the coastline, potentially making landfall sometime after 8 o'clock in the morning, which would be in between high tide and low tide. Tide would be coming up at that time, and you notice that turn towards the north and the east, so it's a little bit of a quicker storm. But the forecast cone is getting narrower and narrower in that area. We're still looking at hurricane warnings along the coast. No real change in here. So hurricane conditions are possible within the next 24 to 36 hours. Looking into north central Florida inland areas, the tropical storm watch in effect for parts of Gilchrist County, Columbia County, Suwannee County, and tropical storm warnings west of I-75 and US 19 all the way to the Gulf Coast. We'll have more in line look at your forecast and what we expect for the next 7 days in just a few minutes.
As Hurricane Michael moves north, residents of north central Florida are preparing for the storm.
TV 20's Beyond Villegas joins us now on how the hurricane will impact some residents and students.
An evacuation has been ordered for Levy County residents living in coastal areas. This includes areas like Cedar Key, Yankeetown, Fowler's Bluff, and Fanning Springs.
Evacuation orders go into effect tomorrow morning for all of coastal Levy County.
We heed those evacuation orders because these things are going to start looking something like what they seen in Hermine 2 years ago in 2016. That's what these water levels could potentially look like, if not higher. We're going to have power outages, and that's a given when you have these types of storms come through and all that sporadic. And we're not estimating that the power outages will be that significant.
In Dixie County, sandbags will be available at the county yard for those who need them. The City of Live Oak Fire Department is also offering sandbags. For Alachua County, the Senior Recreation Center will serve as a special needs shelter. In Dixie County, a shelter will open tomorrow at the new Dixie County High School. A special needs shelter will open at Bell Health Academy, located at the Bell Middle and High School. For Levy County, a shelter will open tomorrow at Bronson Elementary School. And in Suwannee County, Suwannee Intermediate School will be a special needs center. Suwannee Elementary School and Branford Elementary School are open to the public. Several counties in north central Florida have also begun closing schools ahead of Hurricane Michael making a landfall. Dixie County schools will be closed beginning tomorrow until Thursday. In Levy County, schools will be closed Wednesday and Thursday. For Gilchrist County, there will be an early release tomorrow at 1 p.m. and then schools will remain closed Wednesday. And in Suwannee County, schools will be closed beginning tomorrow through the rest of the week.
Alachua County public school officials plan to announce if there will be any school closures Tuesday by 1 p.m. The Columbia County School Board hasn't closed any schools at this moment. We'll continue to update these lists on our website, WCJB.com. Reporting live in the studio, Brianda Villegas, TV 20 News.
Due to the many threats posed by Hurricane Michael, some courts will be closed in our area this week. In the 3rd Judicial Circuit, courts in Dixie and Suwannee counties will be closed Wednesday. No decision has yet been made for Columbia County. In the 5th Circuit, courts will be closed in Gilchrist and Levy counties. That's on Wednesday as well.
And as many people prepare for Hurricane Michael, Life South is now accepting blood donations ahead of the storm in anticipation of the life-threatening conditions it could bring. By donating blood ahead of the storm, it will be used to supply hospitals. For more information, go to our website, WCJB.com.
As Michael makes its way towards the Gulf Coast, agencies in our area are urging people to sign up for emergency alerts if they haven't done so already.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office was one of the first in the state to offer emergency alerts, but now the system is available across the state. TV 20's Alana Osborne shows us how it works.
As these storms are coming in, and we're looking at one right now, you can get real-time, instant information.
That's exactly what you need when the weather takes a turn for the worst.
Any updates, any information we have, you get it immediately to your phone.
And signing up for emergency updates is one extra safeguard you can take before you're stuck in a bad weather situation.
If there's going to be sandbags, if there's going to be shelters opening, if there's going to be expected wind gusts in a certain area.
And these alerts can be sent to just one small area if that's the only place that will be affected.
We can specifically send a message to just a small geographical area if we needed to. So if there was something affecting, for instance, just your neighborhood, hey, the road is blocked coming in and out, and we can send you that information to just that specific neighborhood. It may not be information that you find anywhere else.
While Marion County has had this system in place for a couple years, other counties that may feel storm effects like Alachua, Sewanee, Levy, and Dixie counties have alert systems too.
Add that as part of your hurricane preparedness. You're out buying water and batteries and flashlights and making sure you have everything you need for the hurricane. Also take a moment and just sign up on Alert Marion. Alert
Marion will also let you know about other urgent events like missing person searches or evacuations due to violent crime. And we're linking you to all those local emergency alert systems over on WCJB.com. In Marion County, Olana Osborne, TV 20 News.
U-Haul is offering free self-storage ahead of Hurricane Michael. 4 companies in the Carolinas, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama are offering 30 days of free storage, and a U-Box container is being offered at 28 facilities across those states, including 11 in Florida. The offer is for residents who will be impacted by the hurricane. For more information, go to our website, WCJB.com.
People with Suwannee County Animal Services are asking for help to find homes for roughly 40 dogs recently found living in one home. The dogs have not been abused and have been regularly fed, but the 16 that have been caught and tested so far have tested positive for heartworm. Now with Hurricane Michael looming on the horizon and all the dogs either living outside or in small sheds, animal service workers say they need to find people to take these dogs as soon as possible.
That's really what we're looking for. Transporters, fosterers, and then just, support, possibly food, some other supplies.
They have found some rescues willing to take some of the dogs, including 2 pregnant females, but they still need more that are willing to help. They cannot house the dogs at the animal shelter in Suwannee County because it only has 39 kennels, almost all of which are full and will be evacuated for Hurricane Michael.
And there is a mandatory evacuation order for non-residents in Alligator Point and Franklin County.
Lenitra Bennett shows us what conditions look like in the Apalachicola area.
It's been very cloudy and windy here in Alligator Point, but nothing too bearable for those who are still trying to enjoy their time here or those who are preparing for the storm. The housekeepers for this home started early with boarding the beach house up. They told me they'll be boarding up other homes starting Tuesday. Many people I've spoke to just visiting on vacation. Terry Rowe from Smithville, Tennessee, booking a rental home here months ago. Now the family vacation will have to move inland because of Hurricane Michael.
I'm not as worried much about the house, imagine, but all the rain coming in and you don't want to get anything flooded. We're not for sure what the weather does way down here in Alligator Point on the coast. So, I've got my whole family here and my grandchild, so I want everybody to be safe.
This woman taking pots of water into one of the local houses. I'm told the water and electricity was turned off in Alligator Point earlier in the day Monday. Many saying they're just going to make sure to pay attention closely to those watches and warnings and any reports that are out so that they can plan and act accordingly.
Farther west in the Panhandle, Walton County is preparing for a possible hit. A mandatory evacuation order has been issued for some areas.
And as Peyton Lucero reports, emergency officials are telling residents to take the evacuation order seriously.
If it wobbles a little bit to the west, we still can get hit with a Category 2 or 3 storm, and that's what we're preparing for.
Even though it may seem calm and like a normal day, officials are stressing to the public to begin preparing.
If we say evacuate and you're in an evacuation zone, you need to evacuate.
3 main tips emergency officials recommend residents to do is fill your prescription medications, create a disaster preparedness kit with food, water, a radio, and batteries. Also, fill your cars with gas.
Anybody that's on the south end, whether you're a visitor or resident, and you decide to leave, you need to do so before we get to those sustained winds, which will be sometime tomorrow night.
Closures for Walton County include government offices on Tuesday at noon through Wednesday. Walton County schools will also be closed Tuesday and Wednesday and tentative for Thursday.
Be cautious of it and get out if you have to. Get safe. We can put a building back, we can't put you back.
Again, a list of those school closures for our area can be found on our website, and it looks like people are taking this seriously.
And Chief Meteorologist Bill Quillen is tracking the storm as it heads north.
That's right. We are expecting to see this continue to develop as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico. Stronger storm possible, maybe major category by the time tomorrow afternoon arrives. More on that in a few minutes. All right, we're watching Hurricane Michael rotating around here in the Gulf of Mexico, getting stronger and stronger, up to 90-mile-an-hour winds at this time. The structure of the storm is actually very impressive indeed, and will continue to move into the Gulf. And you'll see these thunderstorms, which are wrapping around the center now, intensify a bit more, not just on the eastern side, but now on the west and northwestern side. And as it wraps around, we're going to see this become much more intense storm as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico, especially by later on tomorrow afternoon. 90-mile-an-hour winds right now, movement to the north at 12, so it's maintained its forward speed from the 8 o'clock advisory. It's been speeding up throughout most of the day and going to continue on that track heading into the northern Gulf. You'll notice it has a wide berth, not much going on ahead of it, no real strong cold fronts heading their way, nothing to block it from heading off towards the north, and nothing to actually redirect it either east or west. So it's going to continue on that track from the south to the north. You can see on the water vapor loop here, it's been dealing with some dry air and some upper level winds. This is the shear that had been affecting it earlier, but we're also watching some shear with a cold front back out to the west that's going to be moving closer to the Gulf of Mexico. If that becomes an issue, it could actually cause the system to turn a little bit. We'll have to watch that very carefully as we head into the middle part of the week, and then by the end of the week, it really races off to the north and east. So as long as it doesn't slow down, I think we're probably going to be okay not having a major landfalling hurricane in north central Florida, but the Panhandle is going to be dealing with it. Notice the water temperatures here, very warm indeed, and the tropical cyclone heat potential, the amount of energy available for this to develop and intensify, is fairly high in the central Gulf of Mexico. Here's two models we're looking at, the European model in yellow, the American model, GFS, in blue, and you'll see they're right on top of one another. The European model intensifying a bit more. This is the wind field, strongest winds near the center of circulation. You'll notice north central Florida not seeing too much in the way of wind. Some banding could be an issue as it makes landfall sometime early Wednesday or maybe into the afternoon, and then races off towards the north and east. So here's the actual official track from the National Hurricane Center as it moves into the central Gulf of Mexico, now expected to be a major Category 3 hurricane in the center of the Gulf of Mexico by 2 o'clock, by 8 o'clock Tuesday evening, and 120-mile-per-hour winds just before landfall early on Wednesday morning, and then racing off towards the north and the east and weakening. But we're still looking at the potential for hurricane force conditions along the coastline from Cedar Key back out to the north and the west. Inland areas, we could also see tropical storm winds. That's why we have tropical storm warnings in place all the way from Williston back out to Brantford and to Madison. You'll notice a little bit further to the east from there along I-75, Lake City, Live Oak, down into Gilchrist County and Trenton, tropical storm watches. So the possibility of tropical storm conditions in that area are also in the forecast. We're looking at a storm surge warning. This could be a big problem as you look out towards the coastline here from Fish Creek, Otter Creek, southwards to Cedar Key and Crystal River. We'll be watching that carefully. And the percentage or probability of tropical storm force winds of 39 miles an hour or higher have decreased a bit and moved back out to the north and the west, where the landfall is going to be much more intense, especially into the northern part of Appalachia Bay. So heads north and strengthens tonight. Major hurricane possible for Tuesday. Wednesday into Thursday, storm surge and strong winds are possible. Right now, not much going on, just a few showers pulling in from the east. That's the circulation around the system, but not really associated with this system. What we are watching, however, as it moves into the central Gulf of Mexico, intensifying, and the storm surge push comes along the east side of that and then moves into north central Florida. As it pulls away, we also may see some banding with this that could cause some problems. What are we looking at? Well, the possibility of damaging winds with some of those strong storms and isolated tornadoes, and of course, storm surge will be likely along the coastline. 87 east winds, 10 to 20 mile an hour winds for tomorrow. A bit gusty at times. The extended outlook, temperatures staying in the upper 80s. Rain chances very high over the next several days.
Well, at least looking for a possible silver lining. At least the storm won't come ashore during high tide.
That's true. It's expected to be in what they call the mid-tide or in-between tide, so that it does not have as much of an issue.
All right, thanks, Bill. Well, the state panhandle, as we just mentioned, certainly getting ready for Hurricane Michael.
Reporter Chelsea Tedonio shows us how Panama City is getting ready.
The Florida Panhandle braces for one of the strongest hurricanes to threaten the coastline in decades. The community remembers the effects of a Category 3 hurricane that hit the area in October of 1995.
I lost my home from Hurricane Opal, and this is supposed to be really bad like that, so I'm not looking forward to it.
I normally laugh these things off, but this one I'm taking a little bit more serious because it does look like it's going to do a direct hit the Panama City area.
Residents aren't taking chances and have flooded stores to get what they need.
We had people at our doors at 5:30 this morning wanting to come in. We opened at 6. By 6:15, we sold out of every generator we had.
We opened at 8 a.m. this morning, and by 11:30 we have pretty much been out of the gallons and the 24 12 packs of water.
Everybody was full up at all the pumps. We were able to get gas, but we've been driving around, doing some shopping, preparing, and noticing the other gas stations, and they are full as well.
Many stores have brought more staff in to help with the crowds and plan to get trucks of supplies in tonight to have the shelves restocked.
And preparations also underway in Franklin County for more there than just tourists.
Megan Bell tells us what residents are doing ahead of Hurricane Michael.
We're going to head up north. We're going to go to Alabama.
For Franklin County resident Harry Wainwright, preparations for Hurricane Michael consist of packing up and leaving town.
I'm going to go up to my dad's. He lives in Wetumpka, Alabama. We're going to stay up there tonight.
But before he goes, he's helping board up shop.
Just going ahead and we're boarding up everything, and we're getting ready for the storm surge that's coming in.
Other locals can be seen waiting in line at the pump or picking up sandbags. Sandbag locations were open Monday at the fire station in East Point, the Old State Yard on Bluff Road in Apalachicola, and at the old courthouse annex on Highway 98 in Carabel. But emergency officials say a mandatory evacuation has been issued for all non-residents, and they recommend some who live here also hit the road.
We're asking all people that are in RV parks to go ahead and evacuate, so that kind of stages that off. We're asking for non-residents at St. George Island to please go ahead and evacuate as well. We're asking for all the residents of Dog Island to go ahead and evacuate.
Officials also say they're asking citizens who live along the coast or are prone to surge or flooding to take precautionary measures like securing yard items and having disaster kits ready.
Once the storm hits and the water hits, be aware that the rescue efforts will be very limited. There's not going to be anyone to come out and get them, so please heed all evacuation warnings as they come.
Coming up next, more on Hurricane Michael.
Stay with us here on the TV 20 News at 11. Hurricane Michael is gaining strength as it barrels towards the U.S. Gulf Coast.
Every Binion reports it's expected to hit land as a life-threatening storm.
States of emergency declared in Florida and Alabama. Hurricane Michael is forecast to be the most destructive storm to hit the Panhandle in decades.
We have never seen a storm like this hit this part of our state.
Some observers comparing Hurricane Michael to 2005's Hurricane Dennis. Winds are expected to hit in excess of 110 miles per hour and bring up to 8 to 12 feet of deadly storm surge. Mandatory evacuations have been ordered in at least 7 Florida counties. Emergency officials sending out a dire warning. If you've been told to leave, don't wait.
Water will come miles onshore and could easily rise over the roofs of houses. Every family must be prepared. Every family. Remember, we can rebuild your house, but we cannot rebuild your life.
Pre-landfall disaster aid has been requested from President Trump, and more than 1,200 National Guardsmen are on alert preparing for the worst.
God forbid the worst case scenario, know that we will be responding to assist you in your time of need.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Gator football took down 5th-ranked LSU on Saturday.
And one Gators performance in that game earned him a special honor. TV 20's Shauna Kalafi is in the studio with more.
That's right, Gators linebacker Voshon Joseph has been named SEC Defensive Player of the Week. I'll tell you what he did to earn that title coming up.